The other point, we are in a continuous struggle that will not cease. Pay attention, men. Do not imagine for a moment, even if you are pious, even if you are devout, even if you are a priest, even if you are a religious man, even if you are a righteous man, even if you are anything, a weary student, anything, know that the internal conflict that ends, this conflict does not mean that you are bad. Pay attention. This internal struggle does not mean you are bad. Rather, the internal struggle means you have a conscience. And this conscience does not accept mistakes. And the important question is, which side do you choose? The side of corruption or the side of righteousness? The side of being a straight person or a deviant one? Your decision plus your conscience, this is the important step you must take. So, which movement are you a part of? Pay attention, gentlemen. Now I am speaking and you are listening. You are part of, listen to me, part of the movement of Satan, or part of the movement of God the Almighty. At the beginning of your life, you were a student. You were 5 years old, but you were part of a mission. Are you part of God's mission or part of Satan's mission? When you saw two people fighting in the streets, those who are fighting, your action is the same. Whether you intervene between them or stay away, the same view applies to God or not to God. Whether your action is for God or your abstention is for God. Every word you utter for God or against Him. We seek refuge in God. Pay attention to these points that accumulate and are placed in a box. One day these points will say, you are a righteous person. These points are important. Every button press, social media, points to every movement. Now you must, with your mobile, every movement. Is the movement for God or for the devil? The gaze, the footsteps, every thought you think, every thought, everything you harbor in your heart, whether for God or for others, you follow your tracking of these matters. Every movement will result in an outcome. Like a student who entered a class and reached a certain stage. Every word spoken in front of the teacher records it as a movement, whether the student is successful or failing. So in the end, what part are you? Part of God's project? Or are you part of the devil's project? We must do this before moving to the next stage. We must make a decision in the most difficult fate, the hardest step we will take. What is the hardest step we take when facing your worst nightmares? What is your worst nightmare? Your worst nightmare. The dragon of your great sin. You have a great sin. This is the sin of a large dragon with 7 heads. This is your sin that you cannot fight. Pay attention to me. How do I stand before this dragon? I tell you, to stand with God Almighty and say, oh God, for every time it cuts you, you rise again. And every time it strikes you, you rise again. And every time it bites you, you rise again. The question is, with what? What strengthens your backbone? What makes you rise again? I tell you simply, God. God is the one who sustains everything. And from this it is known that you are indestructible. Pay attention, men. You ask me how someone can be indestructible. Aren't I sinning and explaining sins? And my face is black and ugly? I ask you a question. Why hasn't your Lord cut you off? Why hasn't your Lord given up on you despite your great ugliness? Why? Because God Almighty knows that there is much good in you. Are you certain of God's belief in you? Sin strikes you and you rise to God saying, my Lord, I seek forgiveness from God. Sin strikes you and you say, there is no God but God. Glory be to you. I was indeed among the wrongdoers. Sin strikes you and you say, there is no God but God alone with no partner. Every time sin strikes you, you rise again until you reach a stage where you are indestructible. And this is the most important step you must be aware of, you sinner. What? It is you.